Hey everyone, and welcome to my latest Beatles vinyl collection video. Now, in this video, I'm going to be showing all my different Beatles live albums, and they're all from different time periods as well. So it's from the 70s until actually about 1 or 2 years ago. So some quite recent releases in here as well. Okay, so the first live album I have to show is the Beatles at the Hollywood Bowl. Now this was released in 1977, and there are quite a few different versions of this. So this is the very first pressing, and here's the track listing. Very good live album this, I've got to say. Very energetic. And this album comes with a gatefold sleeve, with just like a collage of images on the inside there. Looks pretty good. And here is the original inner sleeve, which advertises all the other Beatles albums, which I think looks pretty cool. And here is the album. Quite a good label on side one there. And it shows you the track listing for both sides on the other label. Now, the difference between first pressings and second pressings is to do with the perimeter text, and it's in this section here. Now, on the first pressings, it says unauthorised copying, public performance and broadcasting. Now that order is going to change on the second pressing. Okay, so here's the second pressing. Now, this was an early 80s release, this one, so about 1980 until 1984. And the cover is exactly the same as the original. However, there is, of course, the difference on the record label. Now, on this perimeter text, it reads unauthorised public performance, broadcasting and copying, whereas it was copying, public performance and broadcasting on the original copy. So that's a very subtle change, but other than that, it's very similar. Same labels. Now here is the third pressing of this album. Now this one is a little bit different, and this was released in 1984 as well. This one is a little bit different because this one was made by the UK budget label Music for Pleasure, and it's got a barcode on the back there and a different catalogue number. And as you can see, it's just a generic MFP label rather than the special Hollywood Bowl label on this pressing. And also, it doesn't come with the original inner sleeve, it just comes with a white sleeve, this copy. So it's kind of just like a budget version of the album. Now the cover for this album also has some differences. For a start off, it's not a gatefold sleeve, it's just a regular sleeve. So no gatefold on the inside. Look at the back as well as the barcode. The text is a lot thicker now. Especially down below, you can see it's a bit thicker than it was on the previous one. And of course it's got a different catalogue number. So really it just seems like a slightly lower quality version of the album. Now this copy, this is the fourth pressing, released in 1987 until 1990, has a more obvious difference, and that is that the tickets on the front cover are a different colour. They are red and pink rather than blue and green as on the previous copies. So on the back that ticket's different as well. So this is almost like the second pressing of the MFP version, but it's the fourth pressing overall. And that's got the barcode on as well, of course. Now, it's got a slightly different MFP label here as well. In fact, it's got a completely different design, with the big box Music for Pleasure EMI at the top and a bright red label. There's side 2. Okay, so now on to the next live album, The Beatles Live at the Star Club in Hamburg. And this was, of course, recorded in Germany, 1962. Now, this album, in general, has a pretty bad rep, and that is understandable, because if you've heard this album, then you'll know that the sound quality is pretty bad, I've got to say. It's not ideal. I've heard it was actually recorded on a tape recorder under one of the tables in the club. I've read that somewhere. I'm not entirely sure how true that is, but it certainly sounds as though that's the case. So here's the cover. There are a few different versions of this, but this is the main version, the one that you see the most often. Now, of course, this was before they were kind of a big band and everything, so they're performing some very early material and also a lot of rock and roll standards as well. So you do get a few songs like I Saw Her Standing There and A Taste of Honey, but obviously they are just doing a lot of rock and roll of the time, as you can see. Now, I was actually very excited to hear this album because just because of the track listing, really, because the track listing is really good, and it is okay. It's just a shame about the sound quality, like I say. Now, this album was also released in 1977, so that's the same year as the original Hollywood Bowl, and it's also got a gatefold on the inside. There's the Star Club Hamburg, where the Beatles famously played. And there's a nice big piece of information to read, just telling you all about what they were doing at the time. Quite interesting. And a nice big picture there. Now, this album is normally on Lingersong Records. However, this copy is actually on RCA. I'm not entirely sure what this copy actually is, to be honest, but it seems to be English. So, anyway, it says 1977 Lingersong down there. So you would normally expect to find this on a Lingersong label. Side 2. Sides 3 and 4 are on this label as well.